the biggest life lesson I have ever learned is to not be constipated. And what I mean by that is that everyone in life is constipated. They're always holding their shit in, right? And for whatever reason, they're just not letting it out. So what? And that's just causing like a lot of people a great lot of suffering. It caused me a lot of suffering for a very long time. Why? Because I was constipated. I was really constipated, and this is coming from someone who has been constipated for like 20 plus years. And I finally was able to let most of it out. So um, a lot of people, what do they do when they like become constipated? Well, they like try to meditate, they try to pray, they get into religion, they do all of these weird things, and it's like cool, you can do that. But the thing is, those kind of practices, they don't really help with constipation. What they really do is that they help you develop like a X-ray vision, so you can like see through other people's clothes and whatnot, like see through other people's hearts and their bones, and like like if you're a little bit of a weird person, you can even see through their clothes. And that's pretty weird. But that's what that kind of those kind of practices do, right? It's like the Kundalini, the story, the awakening. It's like, wow. Most people expect that those experience will help with their, bottled up shit, but it does not. Like, the only thing it helps is with, like, getting that third eye, like that, like, being able to see through other people's shit. And most people, myself included, for the longest time, I was like, I want that. I want to see through other people's stuff. I want to see through my own stuff. But the thing is, I'm still gonna suffer even after like an awakening or kundalini because I'm still constipated, right? It's like, imagine if the thing up here, it's like the fourth dimension, right? And this thing that's stuck here in my stomach, that's the third dimension. If like I want to escape my third dimension, then there's no point in going to my fourth dimension. It's like, oh, let me try to escape to Uranus, while even though Uranus is pretty, it's a, you know what it is. Even though it's pretty bad, it's like, come on, it makes no sense, right? It makes no sense. So like this is why a lot of people say like before enlightenment you chop wood and carry water, and then after enlightenment you chop wood and carry water. Why do they say that? Because guess what? They're still constipated. They're still fucking constipated before and after they are doing that. Like it's like they're still holding in their shit. The only thing that changed is the thing up here in the fourth dimension. So like what happens to a lot of people after an awakening is that they reach this stage called the dark night of the soul, or like a peaceful depression. If you don't reach it, then that's good, that's very good. Continue doing what you're doing, right? But like if you do reach it, they reach the place called the dark night of the soul. It's like a term familiarized by like a 16th century poet. He was like William Shakespeare's bitch in a sense, like, ooh, he loved sucking his dick and whatnot. But basically, yeah, that term was coined up by him. But basically, that's not where I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is like the dark night of the soul. It's not a fourth dimension problem. It's like a problem over here. The reason why that happens is that you basically are constipated, but you forget that you're constipated because you're up here, right? It's like, imagine you cut your arm, like your arm just whack, it just goes away, and you're like, oh no, it's so painful, but then you forget about it, and then you're wondering why you can't like write properly with like a pen. Well, yeah, simple. You don't have an arm. You don't have look. You don't have an arm. It's stupid. It's very stupid. That's what the dark night of the soul is, right? It's like a bunch of false assumptions. Most people believe that the fourth dimension is special. It's like big macho people shit, right? And they also believe it should be permanent. Once you go to like the fourth dimension, once you have the satori, you're gonna be there forever. You should never get out. But the thing is, everything dies, dude. Everything dies. You'll die. Yeah, you, the person I'm pointing at, you're gonna die. You're gonna be like, bleh, you're gonna die. You know, you have to come to terms with that, right? And the third thing is, third false assumption is that most people believe the satori, that satori it would end their constipation. No, it doesn't. It doesn't end suffering. The desire to remove suffering is what causes suffering, right? Like it's like circular logic because that logic, blah blah blah. It's circular. So like, what do I mean when I say that that's special state? It's not special, right? What do I mean by that? Because it's like your eyes, right? Your eyes help you to see everything in this world. Like without my eyes, I can't like see my own tongue. I can kind of say it, but like, I can't see my tongue. Wait, I can. I can see the tip of it, right? But it basically allows me to see everything, right? But so is my heart. Without my heart, I'd be dead. I'm just gonna be, you know. But I also have an arm. With my arm, I can do a ton of other stuff with my arm, right? I also have legs. I have my hair. Basically, what I'm saying is that fourth dimension is special, but it's not the only thing. There are tons of other things, and each thing has its own special place in this world, right? Nothing is more important than anything else in a very, very grandiose, universal sense, right? But most people mistake that. Most people believe that special state is special. They believe it's better than everyday life, so they try to detach from everyday life. They try to move on from their constipation. You should move on. You should not move on from your constipation. You should shit and let it all out. That's what you should do. End of the story, right? And they try to move on from that constipation, and they think that the special state should be permanent. That in that state is where they should live forever and forever. And it's like, come on. Do you seriously, if you were actually constipated, do you really, really think you will be able to ignore it for the rest of your life? No, you can't. Eventually, your booty hole is going to boom. It's going to be like Mount Fujishima, right? Well, that's a bomb. It's going to be like a volcano. It's going to be like the Grand Canyon, right? It's going to be like the sewer. It's not going to be pleasant, right? And the third false assumption, it's like people believe that all of their suffering will end once they reach that special state, and it's there like, and I'm thinking like, it's up here, it's the fourth dimension, but all of your problems in third dimension. So it's like, if you want to fix all of your problems in the third dimension, then you should fix it within the third dimension, not in the fourth dimension. Because up here, with this eye, you can only see through other people's shit. You can only see the true nature of reality. But just because you see the true nature of reality does not mean that it's going to help you let go of the load, right? I don't know what I think I'm drunk today. This is why I'm talking so weird. But like, sometimes it's okay to be drunk as long. Yeah, I don't know. I was trying to say of a joke, but it just went out of. Okay, never mind. But basically, the desire to remove suffering is what causes suffering. I want you to think about that. Think about the constipation. Think about the constipation real well, right? Because I never thought about the constipation for 2 years, right? And during that 2 years time period, I experienced a lot of suffering, right? I was in the dark night of the soul for 2 years. I contemplated offing myself. I contemplated a bunch of stuff, right? And it was very, very miserable. But only when I realized that the desire to remove suffering is what causes suffering. Hence, if that's what causes suffering, then I had to remove my desire to remove suffering. That would free me. I realized, oh my God, I'm free. And then overnight, my suffering just vanished. I basically was allowing myself to let go of the load, to excrete my substances, right? So yeah, if you're watching this video, Vimeo, whatever, you're probably constipated and you don't know it, right? Because if you weren't constipated, then why are you watching this while you're on the toilet? That's a good question. That's a very good question. Why are you doing that? I'm asking you. If you don't think you're doing this, if you're like watching this on the bed, well, you're still on the toilet. Because the bed is also a toilet depending on who you are. I'm sorry. But, yeah, thank you. I love you. I don't know you, but I love you. Bye.